When to walk away from someone that you love. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about when to walk away from someone that you love. So let's get straight into it. So one sign that you should walk away from someone that you love is if your needs are not being met. And these are, your basic fundamental needs that make a relationship work, that make you feel happy and content in a relationship, whatever those needs are, okay? Also, don't feel bad for wanting needs, for having needs and for wanting those needs to be met. You're not a bad person for having expectations in a relationship. Everybody goes into relationships with deal breakers, with expectations. Like obviously an unspoken expectation in monogamous relationships are no one cheats. Like that is a unspoken kind of contract, or perhaps it is a spoken contract. You need to basically discuss what these things are for you, like what your needs are, what your expectations are. Another expectation in a relationship that kind of goes without said is that there's no violence, right? There's no, harming each other in a really bad way. There's none of that. That's another unspoken contract. So everybody, it's normal to have expectations in a relationship. And if your expectations and your needs are not being met and you've communicated that with your partner, because don't forget that your partner's not a mind reader, so don't expect them to know what it is that you want. If they're doing something and you don't like it, or they're not doing something and you would prefer it if they did, you need to tell them, because they might not know. They might not know how important it is to you, because for whatever reason, perhaps those kinds of things aren't as important to them. So therefore, they probably just assume they're probably not important to you either, because we all kind of live from our own worldview and our own perspective on the world. And we sometimes forget that other people have different perspectives and have different things that are important to them, because we kind of just live from our own little bubble most of the time. So you need to tell your partner what you expect, what your needs are, and don't feel bad for having needs. I feel so bad for these people that are in relationships and feel bad about having desires, having wants, having needs. You're not a bad person for wanting those things, okay? And I want to make that very, very clear with you. No matter who you are, if you have needs and you have wants, you're not a bad person for having those. And if your partner makes you feel bad for having those wants and needs, then that says more about them than you, okay? So, if your partner knows these things and you've told that to them and you've communicated what you want and what you expect and what you need, and they refuse and they don't negotiate with you, he or she doesn't want to come up with a win-win kind of situation, because there might be a bit of negotiation that has to go on. Perhaps they're not completely that keen on doing whatever it is that what your specific need is. And if they're not that keen, then you need to come up with some kind of negotiation as to how about we do this for me and then we'll do this for you. Come up with some kind of win-win situation, okay? But if this person completely refuses, doesn't even try to make things work, is not willing to negotiate with you, then you need to walk away from them. Because if this is making you feel terrible, if this is making you feel sad, if it's making you feel bad about yourself, then you can't stay in that relationship. You can't live like that. It's just an absolute route towards disaster. If you're in a relationship where your needs are not getting met, your partner is fully aware of what your needs are and is refusing to come up with some kind of solution, some kind of negotiation to make those things work. And it might be the case you don't even need to negotiate with your partner when you tell them what your needs are. They might be very happy to just go along with it. They might be like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to do that. And then they'll just do it. But if your partner doesn't even negotiate and it just completely refuses to try and make things work and to try and make you feel more happy and secure in that relationship, you need to walk away from them, okay? You need to leave that relationship. And you know what? Leaving a relationship is a pretty tough thing to do. It's a bit of a leap. It's quite the big leap to do. And it's difficult, it's hard, and it's scary. But you have to kind of kind of outweigh the pros and cons here. And you want to be in a relationship that's good. And if you're really, really unhappy that your needs are not being met, then you need to go and find someone who is happy to do those things with you, who is happy to meet your needs, and you meet theirs as well. Because obviously these things can't be one-sided. So you need to make sure that you're not also being one of these people that are not helping or giving that person's needs. So if you're in a relationship and you're with someone, and they also have needs and they're communicating that with you, and you're refusing to do those things, it takes two to tango. So if you're doing everything that your partner wants, and you want them to and you also have expectations that you want them to meet, and even though you're giving everything that they need and they're refusing to give back, then you need to walk away, you need to leave, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it, especially when you can find someone who are more than willing to do those things with you and are probably happy to do those things with you and perhaps want those things as well. So that's one way to know if you should walk away from someone. If you're enjoying the video so far, then please leave a like on it, and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if there's anything you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments, or if you have any tips and advice yourself. So thank you so much. So another way to know when you should walk away from someone that you love, it might be the case of you really, really like someone, but they don't like you back. So if the love is unrequited, unreciprocated. And if that's the case, then there's not really much you can do but walk away, because you can't force someone to fall in love with you. You can't manipulate someone to fall in love with you. You can't change their mind. They have to change their mind on their own esteem. You can't change other people and other people's view of you. Obviously, you can always put your best foot forward, but ultimately, the choice is still up to them whether or not they feel that way for you. And to be fair, it's not even a choice. Attraction isn't a choice. So if they just don't feel it for you, then they don't feel it, and they can't really, help it really. So if someone doesn't reciprocate love for you, if let's say you have a crush and they don't like you back, there's not really much you can do about it. You have to let that person go, and you need to walk away from them and never look back, because there's no point wasting your time on people that are just simply not into it. Okay? Please don't waste your time on that. A lot of teenagers do. I mean, this is something that I spent so much of my time during my teenage years doing, just dwelling on crushes that would never like me back. I wasted so much of my youth just being sad and miserable because my crushes didn't like me back. And you don't want to spend your time like that. So, if a crush doesn't like you back, then just let it go and find someone else to date. Get a dating app, start dating people. Go out there and meet people who are willing to, date you, who do like you back in return. Focus more on those people. Focus more on the people that say yes to you than the ones that say no to you. So another way to know if you should walk away from someone you love is if they kind of like belittle you, make you feel bad about yourself, if they're really disrespectful towards you, if they don't value you, and you don't feel basically appreciated by them, and you just feel awful basically when you're around the person that you love. And especially when you have told them and you've communicated in the way that you would want to be treated. So if someone is being disrespectful towards you, especially if it's someone that you love, you need to tell them, right? You need to say to them, well, I do not like being spoken to in that way. It's really disrespectful and hurtful. So I'm going to go, and if you ever want to come back into my life, if you ever decide that you're going to apologize to me for speaking to me like that, then reach out to me. But, otherwise I'm not going to stay in this situation. I will not be treated in this way. It's absolutely disrespectful and inhumane. And I'm going to go. And then obviously you can decide whether or not, if that person does apologize to you, whether you want them back in your life or not. But you can't let people treat you like a second-class citizen. You can't let people undervalue you and not appreciate you and treat you like dirt. Don't allow those kinds of people into your life. And if you do somehow attract them into your life, you need to tell them that it's unacceptable for them to behave in that way. Okay, you need to be strong. You need to be assertive, okay? because you don't have to take any crap, okay? So don't take any crap, okay? Be that kind of person. And it can be a big struggle to stand up for yourself, but you have to do it. Even if it, creates conflict, even if it feels scary, you do need to be more assertive. And if you're in a place where you feel like you're in real danger, then you need to call the authorities. You need to, speak to someone that can come and get you out of that situation. Because unfortunately, we do live in a world where some people are scared to leave their relationship because of what the consequences might be. But if you tell someone or perhaps you go to a refuge or something, you need to get out of those kinds of relationships, especially if it does lead to bad aggression. And those are the kinds of people that you need to stay away from completely, those kinds of people. But if it's just something like belittlement, them just simply disrespecting you and being passive aggressive towards you, or just being mean to you in general, they're not really, that their heart's in the right place most of the time, but they're just being really nasty to you for whatever reason, then you need to communicate with them how you want to be treated. And if they don't change their ways, then you need to leave. But you can't stand for that kind of stuff. It's just not worth it. I highly recommend that you watch this video on walking away and a guide to letting go of past relationships. So this doesn't just go for romantic relationships. This is also for people in your life, like your friends, or it could be like this kind of work situation, or it could be your family members. You need to communicate clearly with people in your life, people that are important to you, how you would like to be treated, especially in those times when you do feel like you're being undervalued, not appreciated, and they're belittling you and talking to you in a mean way, not being very supportive, and things like that. You need to communicate with those people in your life how you would like to be treated. And then, the people in your life, if they love you and they care about you, once they realize what they're doing because you've told them, the people that love you will stop what they're doing. They will come to the conclusion that they can't really speak to you in that way. They can't treat you in that way. And if they love you and care about you, they will change their ways and they will treat you in a more nicer way and not be so mean to you. So sometimes you need to even walk away from family members and friends that are not being nice to you as well. And that's when you know when to walk away from someone. I hope you enjoyed this video on when to walk away from someone that you love. If you would like to get help with me personally and you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.